12 minutes to 12. You are here on ABC Radio Melbourne and Victoria. And if you have someone close to you that's going through VCE exams, you know how much love and support they need if they're wanting to do really well. And even moderately well. Well, can you imagine what it must be like for students who don't have supportive homes that they're in at the time? In fact, they might not have homes at all. What is it like to be experiencing homelessness while you were trying to get through Year 12? Joining you is one of the incredible humans who understands this all too well, Emma Powell, VCE student. You've passed it though, haven't you?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2022.
I look at you with such love in my eyes. It's so exciting. You've got lived experience of homelessness and you're here to talk about that, what that was like for you. And also Leanne Nicholson, Executive Manager of Homelessness and Youth Services at Anchor, really wanting us to open up our eyes to the complexity of this situation. I mean, it's always complex to have unstable housing and home life. But to think about our students at this point when exams are coming out in that way as well. I'm going to kick off with you, Emma. It's a big story. Your story of unstable housing was since you were quite young, I think 5 years of age, when your family first found themselves homeless.
Yeah, that's correct. So my family was homeless when I was first 4.5 years old, I think. I don't remember a lot of it. I was preoccupied with other children things, but we spent most of our time at my dad's parents' house, so my grandparents, and then we actually finally got some private accommodation and we moved in on my 5th birthday.
But that sort of wasn't the end of that for you, was it? That was sort of the beginning of what was an on and off experience with stable housing.
Yeah, so that's right. In 2017, we became homeless again. And that was the year I started high school. So the secondary school I went to, I was one of, I think, 3 from my primary school. So I didn't know very many people. It was in sort of a newer area to me. It wasn't too far away, but I hadn't really been there before. It was a few major big changes in 2017. Starting a new school and then becoming homeless was kind of definitely threw a spanner in the works.
And Emma, when you're going through experiences at home that are of that sort of crisis level, did you feel, and often I've heard lots of kids, particularly in that, they don't want to be going to school and saying, guess what, life is really wild in my experience. Did you have to kind of hide what was really going on in your life?
Well, for the most part, I felt pretty comfortable with the people I was around, but I definitely didn't openly talk about it. But if people had questions, I would answer. But yeah, for the most part, I felt like I wasn't really in a situation where I should talk about it because everyone had other things they were dealing with in my head. I was like, oh, everyone's got their issues, so mine's not really, something to talk about. But yeah, looking back, I definitely realised that no, not everyone was going through something like that.
No.
A lot of people had a lot more stability than I did, and I had a right to talk about it and talk about how I felt.
Yes, you do. And it's so important to share the story now because there'll be someone listening going, oh, actually, I feel like maybe I need to have a voice in the experience I'm having as well. So, high school, you had a lot of disruption throughout that period for you in terms of your learning. Because not only are we looking at homelessness, but we're looking at also, not for you, but talking generally around severe financial hardship that families go through. You cannot imagine the pressure that must be. I can't imagine how you did your exams in Year 12.
Yeah, it was quite difficult. So we were in transitional housing for quite some time because with COVID happening, it sort of slowed down every single process. So at the place we were living at in the transitional housing, we were told really 6 months to 2 years. We ended up being there for 6 years, I think. And then we finally got given, we were told, oh, we have this permanent placing for you in government housing. And this was about 2 or 3 weeks before Year 12 exams. And I was like, oh, this is going to be difficult. I don't want to move. And then I was told where I was moving to. I'd never even heard of the suburb before. I didn't have my license. I didn't have anyone at my home that had their license. So, yeah, I had to start taking a very long public transport trip to high school, which waking up at 5:30 in the morning to get there is not something I'd really done before. So, yeah, there was a lot going on.
That's one complexity. I mean, even hearing you say, and I was moved somewhere I didn't even know, you're not actually kept within a community that you've built and friends and, necessarily you potentially move somewhere that has no access for you to the life you may have had only weeks before. It's a huge thing for us to have an awareness of, and Anchor was an organisation, Emma, that you reached out to. The stats are quite shocking, Leanne, when we look at the amount of our students who are either suffering, serious financial hardship, are experiencing domestic violence in the home, or are in unstable housing. What does it look like across that landscape?
Yeah, well, every year it seems to get worse, that we have more and more young people experiencing homelessness. And I think, 40% of young people and children that do experience homelessness as part of a family group end up as an adult experiencing homelessness. So it's really important for Anchor to try and ensure that there's a pathway out of homelessness for them, so that the long term, people like Emma can finish their schooling and go on and do university and reach the goals that they've got. And I think that's the really important thing, is that, the supports are made available as soon as possible.
Because these are potentially humans that have shown such enormous capacity. Like, this is going over and above to achieve anything. They're the ones you want in every university course and in every employment situation past that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Emma is amazing.
You're sitting here, but we're going to talk about you,
yes.
Emma.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, when we're saying this stuff is good.
It's so surprising to me. I mean, if you think about, just doing year 12 and all of the pressures, I mean, Emma was, also providing support to the rest of her siblings.
That's
and
right.
her mum.
Oh,
and
you're moving house, you're cooking food, you're making sure everyone else is okay.
Yeah, and working as well after school. So, the time to sit down and do her homework was after 10 p.m. It blows your mind.
Blows your mind.
That people can do that.
And I'm looking at you with mum eyes right now in a stern way to say you are incredible. I don't know if we can give your ATAR out, but it's extremely amazing what you achieved in year 12. Now you're majoring in immunology in your Bachelor of Science. Oh my goodness. I mean, do you reflect on this as well? Because I've got goosebumps thinking about what you did and how important your story is for others who are going through stuff to go, okay, there is possibilities here. Do you reflect on it in that way and go, you know what, kid, you're doing all right?
Absolutely. There were definitely times throughout all of high school, just with everything that was going on, not only just the fact that we were in crisis housing, but everything else, and just being a teenager. I definitely felt that a few times where, maybe I'll just,
stuff it.
Yeah, I won't bother with studying or whatnot. I'll get a job and I'll just stick with it for however long. And then kind of just the influence of the people around me and teachers and friends as well. They kind of encouraged me to, just continue studying. And then I was convinced. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do my best. I'll go to university. And then when I found out that I was moving right before exams, I said, well, this is it. It's not going to happen. And I was devastated. I literally was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to do well enough on my exams to get into the course I wanted, which I didn't get my first preference, but I ended up getting my second or third preference, which in retrospect, I'm so thankful that I did. It
always works out the way that you maybe should have always worked out, but you're not even necessarily aware of that. My heart is full. Like, I just feel such respect for you and what you're doing, and then also coming out and speaking about this so that other people know that there are supports like Anchor. So is this what we're doing today? Just giving it a little bit of awareness around the services of Anchor for people to jump on to help. If they've got friends, you might need some help. Is that sort of what we want to make sure that people understand today?
Yeah, I think there's two really important points. One is that homelessness isn't necessarily people on the street. There's
Yes.
lots of people experiencing homelessness and you may not see them. And the other is that, Emma is an outstanding example of, someone that's made it through really tough times, but most young people find that really difficult.
And as absolutely understandably, and we need to love and support them into finding a new place. Emma and Leanne, we're just hitting the news right now. Thank you so much. Anchor is where you can go to find out more information about supporting these humans.